Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. We're going to be looking at the results of the 2026 channel survey, channel census survey, whatever you want to call it. I used to do these pretty regularly, like every year, but the last one I actually did was 2022, and I'm not sure why I stopped. I do know that part of it was I used to use a website called Quick Surveys, and I really liked the types of questions you could make on there, and you could share the data in a lot of really cool ways on there. But then they started saying like, oh, you can't do like 75% of these features unless you pay for an account, and I didn't want to do that, and so I switched to Google Forms, which, I mean, it's nice that it's free and it works. It's a great way to collect answers, but I don't usually like how limited the presentation part of it is. So I tried to, oh, hold on a second. I do think my cat is trying to get in. Let me go get my cat. One in. Yeah, I don't have a webcam or anything, so I can't show my cat, but I do have a cat. She was knocking at the door, wanted to be let in. Hopefully she won't be too much of a troublemaker on stream. But, you know, you hear any random noises in the background, that's probably her, like, jumping around and knocking something over or something. Anyway, so I thought this time around, like, you know, I still did the Google Forms survey. I opened it up for everyone in like early January, and I gave them I had the month for, you know, everyone to fill it in, and I decided this time I was going to make like a little slideshow presentation to at least make the results a little more interesting, and so I can talk about it more and all that stuff. So, you know, thank you to everyone who took it, and let's get into it. So, compared to the 2022 survey, we had more responses, which I guess I'm not too surprised, but I am glad. I thought about seeing if I could compare the answers from this survey to the last survey in 2022, but not all the questions were the same, and even with the same questions, not all the answers were the same, so I can't really compare everything, but, you know, I'll show it sometimes. And in the first question, I basically asked like, oh, have you taken this survey before? And last time in 2022, more people had said yes, they had taken the survey before. And this time around, it was the opposite. Oh, that was my cat. This time it was the opposite. More people said that they had never taken the survey before. Which, you know, hey, that's good. That's more input. I asked, where do you subscribe to me / follow me on? Oh my gosh, what is my... Okay, she ran out of the room. All right, where do you subscribe to me / follow me on? Last time when I asked this question, I basically only had like YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok, and the TikTok I barely used. This time around, I have a lot more, especially since Twitter has kind of, you know, turned into a dark abyss, and it sucks now. In fact, the ones that I have in an asterisk, Twitter, TikTok, and Mastodon, are ones that I don't really use anymore. Twitter, I'm basically done using. Like, the account is there, but there's like, I'm not posting on it. TikTok, same thing. I have an account there, but I'm not using it anymore. And then Mastodon, Mastodon was like the first one where like when Twitter started falling apart of like, oh, everyone should move to Mastodon. I tried it, but no one was there. And so I maybe like post there like once a season. So it's not like fully dead, but it is, you know, I barely use it. But I've since, made a Blue Sky, Instagram. I already had a Twitch, but I'm using it more. Threads, and even a Newgrounds, just because I draw sometimes and I'll post art on there. And most of you clearly were not aware that I even had all these other social media, which, I mean, that's fine. But, all these options are there. So, yeah, feel free to give me a follow in those other places. If you go to my channel, there's a link tree that links to all my different social media. Yeah. Which of my YouTube channels do you all subscribe to? Well, not surprisingly, most of you subscribe to this one. But some of you also subscribe to my other channels. I'm glad that my extras channel is getting at least some traction, and then my music channel and my gaming channel, with to no surprise whatsoever, barely any of you look at it, which is fine. I'm not always like advertising it all the time anyway, but I do have other channels, and we'll get more into what I do on those other channels later in the survey, but I still wanted to see how many of you knew about it, looked at it, subscribed to it. So, and compared to 2022, well, I didn't have... Oh, hold on, my cat's causing trouble. That raising a kitten, I mean, it's not as hard as like raising a dog or raising a baby, but my cat has a lot of energy, so she likes to climb up on things and knock things over and all that fun stuff. So every once in a while I'll hear like something like, like a clunk, like something gets knocked onto the floor, and I have to make sure she didn't like spill anything or anything. Anyway, compared to 2022, I didn't have the gaming channel at all, so it makes sense that was a 0, and that's grown. The music stayed about the same. The extras, though, has almost doubled, so I'm pretty happy with that. And, of course, the normal channels stayed about the same. Next, I asked a few questions about YouTube Shorts, like, where do you watch, like, your vertical swipeable videos? Most of you said YouTube Shorts, some of you said TikTok, a lot of you said you just don't even watch them at all. Instagram had a large amount. These are a type of videos that I do make, but it's very rare. I don't make them a lot, and I keep thinking, well, maybe I should make some more, because every once in a while I'll see something that, like, oh, wow, this short has got like 10 million views, and it seems like a great way to, like, get more people to the channel, but every time I've made one, it just doesn't really seem to work. My videos aren't really the type, my videos aren't the type where you can like crop them into the vertical format and it looks good, because it cuts out a lot of the information, or like if I did, I would have to shrink it to fit, and it would be a lot harder to enjoy. So like my map videos just don't really work that way. And I've thought about like, oh, maybe I'll make like here's a fun short fact of the day, but those just don't seem to work. So, not every channel needs to do YouTube Shorts. I've thought about it, but so like I asked, if I did make more, would you watch them? And the general answer was, maybe. So I just don't see myself investing in YouTube shorts. Like you can see, like, these are all the YouTube shorts I've made since 2021. So this is across almost 5 years, or I guess 4 years. So I haven't made a lot, admittedly, but you know, some of them like did decently. Like I got one that had like, you know, 100,000 views. But a lot of them just were kind of like, eh. And a view on a short is not the same as a view on a video. For those who don't know, what counts as a view on a video is a longer amount of time being watched than what counts as a view on a short. So whenever you see like the number of views on a short, I don't know what the exact ratio is, but it is like, it's basically very inflated. So 112,000 views on a short might as well be like half that on a normal video. So really it doesn't really mean much. But you know, I've tried original fun fact stuff, I've tried jokes, I've tried, oh, I made a thing, check out the thing. I tried cropping a video to the vertical format, and you know, doesn't really seem to go anywhere. But I don't know, maybe that'll change. Maybe I'll eventually get around to doing more. Oh yeah, just to emphasize like how little the shorts have seemed to matter on my channel. Like, okay, I got 483 subscribers over like almost 5 years of doing shorts, which is not a lot. So it just doesn't really add anything. And maybe it's because I should have done more, I don't know, but I'm already like, you know, working on so many things and doing like a normal video every week. It just doesn't seem like investing that much time and effort into shorts is enough of a reward to keep doing it. So podcasts. Do you listen to podcasts? And general answer was sometimes. And if I did a podcast, would you be interested in it? And the answer was maybe. I do not currently have any plans to do a podcast. If I was to do a podcast, it wouldn't be me by myself. If someone wanted to offer me to be like a co-host or something, you know, then maybe I would do that. But I've already got enough on my plate as it is, because editing a podcast takes a long time, and so if I could definitely not do it by myself at this point. But you know, you never know. And I thought I'd ask anyway, just to see what the general idea was. Demographics. So, as people noticed in the survey, I had under 18 and then 19 to 29. And so if you were the exact age of 18, I guess you just had to pick and choose, which I guess you would just pick 19 to 29. That's what I imagine most of you did, but sorry about that. Yeah, so half of you, or not half of you, a quarter of you are still in school, or at least like if you don't count college, and then most of you are college age and in your 20s, which does not surprise me. The age groups were a little different in the 2022 survey, which is why I don't have a comparison, but it is, you know, it's not too different. The 19 to 29 has grown, but otherwise it's been mostly the same. And then gender, compared to 2022, we've gotten slight more non-men watching, which I'm happy. I'm not sure why female is, you know, is that low. I could say, looking at the analytics on my YouTube channel, it is a little higher. Like on my YouTube analytics, it's like closer to like 15% female, I believe. Which, you know, it is what it is. I'm glad it's growing. I want my channel to, you know, be enjoyable for everyone. But you know, these results do not surprise me in the slightest. And then I didn't ask in the survey where everyone was from. just because like I can just see that in my analytics at any time, and it doesn't really like, none of my questions are really pertain to like, what does my Italian audience think? So I just didn't really see a reason to include it. But for those of you who are curious, in 2020, these are my top 15 countries, my viewers in the year 2025. So, United States is at the top, followed distantly by the UK, Canada, Germany, Brazil, Poland, India, the Philippines, Indonesia, Australia, Turkey, Italy, Netherlands, Spain, and France. Nothing too surprising there, but yeah, Brazil mentioned. How much do you enjoy these type of map videos I make? So basically in the survey, I gave like a type of video that I make, and I asked, do you love it? Do you like it? Is it okay? Do you dislike it? And for the purposes of this presentation, I made a little scale where I averaged out everyone's answers. And the closer it is to the number 1, the more people liked it on average. And so the good news is, of all the different types of videos I make, all of them are on average liked more than disliked more, which is good. But by far and away, your favorite is war. Well, I guess it's not by far and away. Empires is pretty close. And then modern nations, regions and continents, alliances and organizations, and so on. Fictional media being last does not surprise me. Just so you know the type of videos I'm talking about: war map videos. I'm mapping out a war. Empire, I'm mapping out an empire's history. Modern nation, just like the empire, but it's just another country. Regions and continents, it's like, the history of the Arctic, the history of this continent, and alliances and organizations. So when I show things like NATO or the European Union, laws and civil rights, that's kind of a broad category, but like anything based on like a law. So like time zones, civil rights, holidays, things like that. And then canals and railroads was something that was new, that I did relatively new. I guess I did it in 2024, but railroads I did last year just because I was curious. I thought like, canals and railroads are built over time. That could be something to map out. And even though it's second to last in this, I mean, most people still like the videos. So I'm probably not going to make them all the time, but it's still like a new category of video that can be fun to make. And then, fictional media, like, I've made one of like the Avatar: The Last Airbender world before. I'm not sure if I would be doing a lot of these, because part of the problem is like I'd have to, it's one thing to look at a history book for a war. It's another to read like, a 40 book fantasy series to, figure out a map in some places, but you never know. And then I asked, I did a couple of experiments in 2025, and I asked everyone some questions about those experiments. So earlier in 2025, I started a fan voted alternate history map videos on my other channel, and I asked if people would want more of that, and overwhelmingly people said yes. And I'll get more into that later, but I'm glad you enjoyed that. What details do you like seeing on my war maps? So basically, in the past like year and a half, I've started to include major cities, rivers, and national labels on the map. And all of you basically are glad that I added those. Some people only just want the cities and don't want the other two, which is interesting, but you all overwhelmingly wanted that. I also had another question where I asked, what else would you like to see? And, there's too many answers for me to like list here, but, I do appreciate your input. And then, on my 2025 Russo-Japanese War Every Day map, I I basically did this little thing where I had like moving pieces to represent like major ship fleets, because in that war in particular, the Battle at Tsushima Straits was a naval battle that basically helped determine the fate of the war, and I wanted to show it. And so I asked, would you be interested in seeing this on future war videos when possible? And of course, most of you said yes. I'm not going to do it for every video, just because some videos, like the Navy is doing so many things, I can't keep track of everything, or maybe it just doesn't play a factor. But if I do make a future video where there's like maybe like a particular decisive naval battle, I could show it again. So I'm glad you like that. And then late 2025, I experimented with a video showing the race to the South Pole, showing the positions of the explorers with tokens on the map. Would you be interested in more exploration map videos in this style? And overwhelmingly, you guys said yes. I'm probably not going to make like, a ton of them, but they are pretty interesting and fun to make. I've thought about like, I don't know, like maybe I can make one for like Columbus's explorations, or Marco Polo, Lewis and Clark. There's a lot of potential for that sort of video, and yeah, glad you liked it. All right, and then I asked about the time periods and the places that I feature in my map videos, and whether you want more or fewer of them. And well, when it came to regions of the world, thankfully none of you wanted fewer of any of them, at least overall as a consensus. But you all definitely wanted more of the Middle East, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Asia, which, all right, duly noted, I'll make more. And then for time periods, interestingly, most of you wanted more for medieval times, the early modern period, and the long 19th century, which I feel like I make a lot of long 19th century map videos, so I'm surprised you want more, but hey, if that's what you like, that's what you like. Medieval and early modern, I can definitely see you guys wanting more. That is, I do probably make, early modern is probably like the one I do the least. So I can try to work on making more in that time period for sure. And then I asked, what were your favorite map videos of 2025? And I broke it up into 3 categories. So for the war videos, in a third of you basically said that the unification of Germany video was your favorite war map video, followed by the Russo-Japanese War every day. I think personally, I'm most proud of the Russo-Japanese War one, but I'm glad that you guys voted second. And then in a very distant third, the Albanian Border Wars video, which I was glad a lot of people liked. I wasn't sure that one was gonna do very well, but it did. For Nation and Empire videos, it was closer. First place was the one I did on the United States, the global viewed one, and followed closely behind by the one I did for modern Italy, and then Canada was in third place. And then for the other category, the highest voted one, and this is pretty even all around, but the highest voted one was the reunification of Germany every day. Which, yeah, that was a weird video to make, but it was really interesting. I'm glad a lot of people liked it. And then, very closely behind, it was the one where I showed the recognition of Israel and Palestine, which I had to do twice last year because I originally did one in February of 25, and then over the summer, like a lot of people recognized Palestine, and so I felt like, well, I had to make an updated one for October, and so I did. And then third place was the history of the Maya and the classical era, which I'm kind of disappointed with how poorly that one performed. In hindsight, some people said that the map was harder to read in that video, and looking at it, I kind of see what they mean. I think I made the text like white over that shade of brown that made it extra hard to read even with the drop shadow. So whenever I make a full history of the Maya, I'm going to have to remember to fix that. But you know, that aside, I'm still kind of disappointed that one didn't do too very well, because I thought, you know, having a map of the Maya during this time period with that level of accuracy, I thought was something that people would be interested in. And I don't know, I guess maybe they missed it. The YouTube algorithm's weird, but it is what it is. How much do you enjoy these type of non-map videos I make? So basically, for the videos on my channel that aren't maps, same thing. I weighted everyone's answers and did an average. The closer it is to the number one, the more people liked it. And thankfully, no one overall hated any of these categories. The new Change in the Map series is at the top, and that doesn't surprise me. Those videos always do very well. It's just a map series where if a border changes or something like that, I talk about it. It's that simple. Second place are my quirky geography videos. So anytime like, oh, this border is weird, or oh, this country has a weird lake, or you know, something like that. Those videos are pretty popular. Then my normal history videos are in third place. Fourth place, you got the Vote the Treaty videos. So like, oh, it's the end of World War I. What do you want the peace treaty to look like? It's a fun little viewer participation thing. Admittedly, I've already done the really big ones, so I am already running out of new ones of those to do, but I am open to ideas, and I'm glad people like them. Fifth place was the Awesome Maps series. I used to do a series on this channel called Horrible Maps, and you know, it's just, you know, poking fun at all the horrible maps that were printed in like a textbook, or you know, used in like a school or something like that. And I did a bunch of those, and I stopped the series because it kind of got stale, and I kind of wanted to make something a little more positive. But I guess the internet just doesn't like positivity, because so far the Awesome Map series overall has been, I've made 4 of them, and most of them have been like basically like duds, where just not a lot of people watch them. And I guess the people who answered the survey, I guess they really liked them, and I'm appreciative that they did. But for whatever reason, the algorithm doesn't like it, so they just don't get a lot of views. And then, you know, and while I don't want to just not do a video just because it doesn't get a lot of views, it is kind of disheartening. Yeah, it is what it is. I encourage you, if you hadn't watched these videos before, to check them out, because I still think that it's really cool to, like, some people make really cool maps on the internet, and I wanted to make videos, you know, just shouting them out. So definitely worth a watch. Then after that is the historical elections type of videos. Last year I started making videos getting into details about random countries' elections that I find interesting. And at least like looking in the comments of the videos, a lot of people loved it. So I'm definitely going to be doing more of those for sure. Then after that, your alternate and hypothetical history videos. So things like, oh, here's a thing that almost happened in history. I find those videos interesting, and overall, you guys seem to like it too. And then last place, you know, just history-based video games. I don't do these a ton, just because I'm not that much of a gamer, but there is, like, I did do a video on, like, Civ 7 when it came out. I last year did a video on, like, how accurate is the map in Victoria 3 that a lot of people seem to like. I don't game enough to really like make these all the time, but you know, people seem to like them. All right, and then I asked the same time period and region question, but for my history videos. And I also changed the regions a little bit. Like I broke up the US and Canada. And overall, people want me to make more of, you know, Middle East, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Asia, but also Latin America. And I did notice that while I do make a lot of map videos for Latin America, I don't do a lot of history lecture videos. So, you know, duly noted. I will definitely make more of those. And then time periods, I broke up the World Wars one a little bit. And, you know, same thing. People want more medieval, early modern, and long 19th century, but they also wanted more videos on the interwar era, which I thought was interesting. And, you know, thankfully, none of you guys want me to stop making videos on any of these overall. So, you know, always happy to see that. And then I asked, what are your favorite areas of history? And the top answer was politics and diplomacy, which was surprising because usually the number one answer is military history, but that's down in third because just barely beating military history is regional and local history, which I'm glad because I do make local history videos every once in a while, and I do enjoy making those. And those always seem to do pretty well. So maybe the people that answered that are people that subscribe to me from those videos. And then after that is religious history, then technology, and then famous figures, and last place being architectural history and art history, which I understand is more niche, but every once in a while those are fun to do. And then what were your favorite non-map videos that I did last year? I had two categories. For my history, just my history ones, it was close, but the top voted one was the satire maps video I did, which I was really happy with that video. And a lot of people enjoyed that one. So I'm glad that you guys voted that one as the favorite. Second place was my video on the Western Roman holdouts. Basically, you know, Rome falls in 476, but there are some areas of the empire that try to hold on to the Roman identity for just a little bit longer. And people enjoyed that one too. And then third place was one I did about the forgotten partition of Poland, aka the Duchy of Warsaw, Poland during the Napoleonic Wars. But you know, it was all pretty close. And then for the other category, the first place one was the video about alternative dates for World War II. So like some people say like, oh, World War II, we say World War II started in 1939, but maybe we should say it started in 1937 when Japan invaded China. And you know, there are a lot of people that have opinions on that. And so I made a video talking about the different dates that people used, and people enjoyed that one. Second place was the voting the peace treaties of World War II. I'm not too surprised there. And third place was the video I mentioned earlier where I talked about, is the map from the game Victoria 3 accurate? Like I said, I'm probably not going to do those videos all the time just because I don't game a lot, but I am glad that people like it when I make those. All right, then I asked some questions about my other channels, and so I'm going to talk about those for a little bit. So I have an extras channel. Sometimes I just get an idea in my head. I want to do a nerdy thing or a random thing, and I know that putting it on the main channel would be an algorithmic disaster. So this extra channel is basically where I dump a bunch of extra projects that I do. There are some series on that channel, but a lot of it's just random. And I basically asked like, what do you enjoy on that channel? And of course, most people were like, oh, I don't watch these because I didn't know you have this channel. which, you know, I'm not surprised. But basically, the type of videos that I'm currently doing on my extras channel, I have a bunch of like animated bar graph videos. There's like a website called Flourish where you can basically make bar chart and line chart races. And so I've been using that for things like, what's the makeup of Canada's parliament over time and things like that. And it's very nerdy. So it's probably not for everyone, but if you like a number go up, a number go down, and statistics and things like that, yeah, I have a bunch of those on there. Like I mentioned earlier, I started doing alternate history maps again. I used to do them years ago, and then I kind of stopped because I got bored of them, but I've had the bug, and so now I want to do them again. And earlier I voted I had you guys vote on a scenario, and the one that won was what if basically Atlantic Canada joined the American Revolution, and so that's been an ongoing series. There's 3 parts out right now. It's not finished yet, but that's ongoing. And then I just recently, the other day, I just did a one-off. There was basically a time where Austria-Hungary was offered the Spanish colony of Rio de Oro in Africa, and they turned it down. So I just did like a quick one-off of like, oh, what would happen if they said yes? You know, so that's out on the channel right now if you want to see it. And then a series that I do on my extras channel is called Flash Fossils. I enjoyed a lot of Flash games and Shockwave games when I was a kid. And now that Flash is dead and most people just game on Steam now, a lot of these games are being forgotten and they're not being preserved very well. And, you know, so I thought, oh, I should make a video series talking about different popular Flash games from back in the day for posterity's sake, you know. And not a lot of people watch them, but the people that do really seem to enjoy them. So if you're interested in just seeing videos about like online games that used to be popular 20 years ago that everyone's forgotten about, it's almost kind of like lost media in some senses, then, you know, give it a watch. I've got like a half a dozen of them now, and I'm going to be making more of them. And then sometimes I just post random stuff that has nothing to do with anything. Like the example that I have here is I learned when making the Maya video that one of the wars that they fought with each other was called the Star War. And so as a joke, I made like a Star Wars movie style text crawl about like one of the wars, and I thought it was a funny joke, so I just posted that on there. You know, little gags like that. But yeah, that's the stuff I'm posting on my extras channel. Again, I encourage all of you to subscribe if you find any of those things interesting. Yeah, it's just fun. Oh yeah, and then I asked, you know, if I wanted to make like random full-length videos about like movies, TV, games, music, stuff like that. I wouldn't put them on here just because they wouldn't do well, but sometimes I just want to make a video about something, and so I asked if I put it on the extras channel, would you guys watch it? And most of you said, maybe. Depends. Which, you know, I'm not surprised. Like I said, I wouldn't do a lot of these just because I've got a lot on my plate already, but every once in a while, if I got the free time and I can rant for 5 minutes or something, then, you know, who knows? Maybe I'll put some on there. Next is my gaming channel. This is new. I made it in just last year. It's basically just, you know, I'll play games on my Twitch sometimes, and I'll post edited VODs on there. And yeah, it's not a lot. You can see like the videos I posted on there recently. Like I said, I'm not a gamer, so I don't I don't do a lot of games, and I don't post there all the time. So I understand if people aren't interested, but you know, if you're ever bored, it's something. I'll play old Flash games. I'll play history games on there. I just recently started playing, it's like a mystery game that is set in 1899 Germany, which is really fun. Yeah, and you can either subscribe here to see the VODs when I post them, or you can just, you know, follow my Twitch. You know, I'm fine with either one. But I also understand if you don't care, because, you know, I'm not a gamer, so I understand when other people aren't gamers either, so. And then my music channel. I make music. Usually on my phone. So I'm not going to pretend it's like the most amazing music in the world, because I have real instruments, but I'm not super talented at them. So most of it I just make on my phone, but some people seem to like it for whatever reason. And, you know, I've been making music for a while, and I asked, you know, if you do listen to my music, where do you listen to it at? Most of you say YouTube. But I do now have it on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Tidal, Deezer, and Bandcamp. So a lot of different places you can listen to it if you want. Just a fair warning though, Tidal, for whatever reason on Tidal, someone posted a lot of AI songs with the same artist name as me, even though it's not me. And Tidal just lazily put it all on the same page, and I keep contacting Tidal and they just ignore me. So their customer service sucks, I guess. So if you see AI music there on Tidal, that's not me, that's someone else, and I can't get rid of it. It's dumb. But you know, everywhere else should be good. But yeah, if you find, I've actually been playing some of the music in the background of this stream, so if you liked any of it, you know, check it out. Yeah. And then last set of questions on the survey were about supporting the channel. And speaking of supporting the channel, if there are any super chats, I will answer them after the survey. So since we're almost done, be sure to get some in now if you haven't done so yet. But for supporting the channel, I asked, do you guys know that I have a Patreon? And most of you said yes, but you haven't been a member, which I get it. Same thing with YouTube channel memberships. And then I also, last year, I opened up a channel store on Fourth Wall. I used to have one for Redbubble, but Redbubble kind of sucks. And I hated Redbubble, and so I finally got rid of it, and I tried again with Fourth Wall, and you know, so that's brand new. I tried earlier, like at the end of last year, I made a calendar, a 2026 calendar that is themed with German states, like historical German states. So it's a very nerdy map calendar, and a lot of people bought those, and I was pretty happy with that because I wasn't sure how well those would do. So, but you know, those are gone now because now that it's the new year, can't get them anymore. But right now, if you go to the channel store, you can get like mugs, and then I asked like, hey, what are some merch ideas you guys might be interested in? Because I've tried merch before, and it doesn't usually do very well, and so I don't want to, like, you know, waste people's time. And the overwhelming answer was posters of maps, and it's like, yeah, why haven't I done that before? So there's nothing there right now. Right now, if you go there, there's only like a couple of mugs that you can buy. But I am going to throughout 2026 make different map prints and map posters that you can buy, because people seem to be really interested in those, and I'm kind of surprised I haven't tried that yet. So I guess look out for those in the future. And then I said, you know, if money wasn't an issue, what would you guys prefer to do as your way of supporting? And you know, most of you said Patreon and channel memberships and merch, so about the answers that I expected. Thank you to all the people that are YouTube Premium supporters, but I just don't see that ever taking off. And, you know, in this economy and with everything going on right now, I totally understand why you guys wouldn't be able to afford, like, supporting the channel, and I totally get that. I'm not going to blame anyone for it, but anyone who does support the channel, I really appreciate it when you do. If you're a Patreon supporter or a channel member, you get to see videos early. Channel members get exclusive emojis during live streams. Patreon members, the higher tiers, get to see like blank maps and other behind the scenes stuff, if you can call it that, behind the scenes. You know, and also Patreon members get access to the Discord as well. Although the Discord is public, I just don't advertise it a lot. But you know, I appreciate all of you who have supported the channel. And oh yeah, there's the calendar I made. I sold 133 of them, which doesn't sound like a lot for a channel of my size, but every single time I've sold merch of any kind, it's always like, you know, 5, I sold 5 or something like that. So yeah, for something that was only available for like a month, I was pretty happy that 133 of you bought a calendar. Although some of you bought more than one calendar. There was one person that bought 3. But thank you to everyone who did. And then I also, last year, I had like a plush made of like the channel's mascot, like the Imperial Cat or whatever you want to call him. And you know, a couple, like there were like across the year a few dozen people that bought them. They basically made 200 of them, and they've basically been on sale for like a year, almost like a year and a half. I may have done it in 2024. I don't remember. I was told that they would stop selling them on the new year, but apparently the link to the plush is still there. So I don't know. Maybe they still have some. I don't know, but I was told that they stopped selling them. But to all the ones that did buy a plush, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. It all helps keep the channel going. And then we'll just end the survey with some photos of my kitten. I got her in July. Her name's Diana. She's very crazy and energetic, but she's also very sweet. Yeah, that concludes the survey. I don't see any super chats, but I did see Lolgaster102 became a member and gifted a membership to someone, so thank you very much, Lolgaster. I very much appreciate that. But since that concludes the survey, and I don't see any super chats, I guess that'll be the end of the stream. I might try to do like a GeoGuessr YouTube stream or a guess the county or city YouTube stream, some sort of YouTube stream, like in February. I don't know when, but yeah, those are always fun. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna be like, you know, streaming on Twitch like maybe once or twice a week. Not for super long, but you know, if you enjoy these live streams, then you know those would be the ways to see them. Thank you to everyone who answered the survey. I really appreciate it, and I hope you found the results interesting. And I will see you guys next time.